Okay. Uh, Good morning. In the last session, we started with the second part of unit number 3, and that is based on the entropy and some relations related to entropy. So we started with basic concept, what is meant by entropy. So entropy is basically a property of heat that indicates what amount of that heat will be converted into useful work, right? Or in other word, it can tell us about the usefulness of that heat. Suppose I have 50 kilojoules of heat, then if I calculate the entropy associated with that heat, then I can easily predict that out of 50 kilojoules, what amount of energy could be converted into useful work and what is going to be wasted, right? So that way entropy helps us uh, to find out the energy conversion rate. Next, we compare that entropy with the disorder. As we know, whenever there is a conversion of one form of energy into another form, there is involvement of disorder. When you convert one form of energy into another, there is usually increase in disorder. And we also know that whenever there is increase in disorder, along with increase in disorder, there is going to be increase in entropy also. So there is close relation between disorder and entropy. That relation we have drawn over here. You can see low randomness, low entropy, and low disorder in this direction. Whereas if you go in this direction, you can easily see that there is increase in disorder as molecules are separating from each other. The space between molecules is increasing, so there is going to be increase in disorder as well as increase in randomness also. And along with increasing those two, the entropy of the system is also going to increase. That we studied in the last session. Now today we are going to begin with temperature entropy diagram. So what exactly temperature entropy diagram is and how it is going to be useful. So temperature entropy diagram is basically it's a plot between two properties. The first one is temperature and second one is entropy. It is just like PV diagram. When you plot pressure on y-axis and volume on x-axis, you will get PV diagram. And in case of PV diagram, area under the curve gives us P into delta V. What is area under the curve in PV diagram? Can any one of you tell me? I just answered the question. P into delta V. What is P into delta V or P into dV? Anybody? Yogesh, Narayan, Umesh. Umesh, can you answer this one? What is P into dV? Pressure into change into volume. What we get if you take product of those two terms? Umesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You don't know what is P into dV?
No, sir.
That is going to be W, Umesh. Product of pressure into change in volume that gives us work produced, right? So in case of PV diagram, when you plot pressure along y-axis and volume along x-axis, and if I draw a line that predicts the relationship between pressure and volume, then area under the curve is nothing but this P into dV, and that is nothing but the work produced during the process, right? Similarly, in case of TS diagram, when you plot temperature along y-axis and entropy along x-axis, the area under the curve gives us change in entropy. Suppose there is whole process AB, and out of that process I have considered a small segment, small AB, and if I draw area under that curve with the shaded region, that gives me change in entropy for that small segment of the process. So that is nothing but the ds. So area under the curve in case of TS diagram is change in entropy, delta S or ds. Okay, the relationship is like ds is the ratio of heat change and the temperature at which that heat is being changed, or heat interaction to the temperature at which that heat interaction is being takes place. For this process AB, if I consider temperature is T and the amount of heat interacted is dq, then if I take ratio of dq by T, that is nothing but change in entropy ds. Okay, so remember this one. In case of temperature entropy diagram, temperature plotted on y-axis, entropy plotted on x-axis, and area under the curve represent the change in entropy, and the relationship for that one is dq by T, or change in heat to the temperature at which that change in heat is being takes place. That ratio gives us change in entropy. Next, this is Clausius theorem. Let me hide this control panel. Okay. So Clausius theorem is basically, let me explain using this PV diagram. In this PV diagram, there is a process represented by this curve. This process is IF. Okay, so there is one process IF, and that is a reversible process. Okay, a PV diagram is there representing one process IF, which is a reversible process. Now I want to replace this process by using this one. Let me change the color of the pen. This one, a reversible adiabatic process. Then from here, this is connected process, that is reversible isothermal process, and from here this inclined process, and that is another reversible adiabatic process. Okay, so there was one process IF that was a reversible path, and that reversible path I want to replace by reversible adiabatic, followed by reversible isotherm, and again followed by reversible adiabatic. And I want to check whether this replacement is possible or not, or if possible, what care need to be taken. Okay, now in this diagram what I am going to do, let me draw somewhere here. Suppose this is process IF. Okay, now from here I will draw one, sorry, it should be from this end point. I will draw one at a reversible adiabatic process. From here I will draw reversible isothermal process, and from here another reversible adiabatic process. Okay, this way this sketch has been created. Now while drawing this reversible adiabatic followed by reversible isotherm and then followed by reversible adiabatic, what care has been taken? The area under the curve, this IF, means over here if I draw the area under the process IF, that is nothing but this much area, must be equal to area under the curve IABF. Now let me erase all the ink so that you can get a better idea. So original process is IF. Area under that process IF is nothing but this much area, right? Now, while drawing that two reversible adiabatics and reversible isotherm, what care I am taking? Area under this replaced process IA, that is reversible adiabatic, AB is reversible isotherm, and BF is reversible adiabatic again. The area under this IABF must be equal to area under the curve IF. And if that is condition is satisfied, the diagram that we have drawn is correct one. Okay, so that way I have drawn two reversible adiabatics and one reversible isotherm. Now let's apply the first law of thermodynamics to those two processes. Let's start with the original process IF. We know that first law is Q is equal to delta U plus W. Okay, delta U will be equal to internal energy at final stage minus internal energy at initial stage. This statement we are going to use over here. So for process IF, the relation will be QIF is equal to UF minus UI, because F is the final stage, I is the initial stage. UF minus UI plus WIF. So this is the relation for process IF. Similarly, if I write relation for the replaced path IABF, the relation would be QIABF is equal to, even for that process, initial stage is I, final stage is F. So change in internal energy will become UF minus UI only, as that of first process IF, plus W will be replaced by WIABF, because there are now intermediate stages also. Now, if you observe the equation number 1 and equation number 2, the change in internal energy is U final minus U initial, U final minus U initial. So those two quantities are same. And while drawing this process IABF, what care we have taken? Area under this IABF is equal to area under the curve IF. And this is PV diagram. So in case of PV diagram, area under the curve represents work. So if I say that area under the curve IF is same as that of area under the curve IABF, then I can say that WIF is equal to WIABF. Is that fine? Pratik, any query?
No, sir.
Okay. So this change in internal energy is already same, and while drawing those two processes, we have taken care that work transfer during those two processes is same. So this WIF will be equal to WIABF. So that way, right hand side of both the equations are same. So now on the left hand side, there is QIF and QIABF. So I will get relation QIF is equal to QIABF. So that is heat transfer during original process is equal to heat transfer during the replaced process IABF. Okay. Now let's split this QIABF because this is IA segment, then AB segment and BF segment. So QIA plus QAB plus QBF. I have splitted that IABF into individual segment. Now out of those three processes, this IA and this BF, those two are reversible adiabatics. So if I say that it is a adiabatic process, what will be the heat transfer during adiabatic process?
No heat transfer.
No heat transfer. So that way QIA and QBF is equal to 0 because those two are adiabatic processes. And adiabatic process means neither heat entering in the system nor leaving the system. So if QIA and QBF are eliminated from the equation, what will be the final stage? QIF is equal to QAB. Okay. So now I can say that whatever I considered, what consideration we made, can we replace a reversible path IF with another path that consists of one reversible adiabatic followed by reversible isotherm and further followed by reversible adiabatic? Then I can say that yes, we can replace any reversible path by this combination of zigzag path that is consisting of reversible adiabatics and reversible isotherm. But what condition has to be satisfied? The condition that has to be satisfied is heat transfer during the original process, because IF is the original process and replaced one is IABF. So heat transfer during the original process must be equal to heat transfer during the isothermal process of the replaced path, because the replaced path is IABF. Out of that, IA is adiabatic, BF is adiabatic and AB is reversible isotherm. So if heat transfer during the original process and heat transfer during the isothermal process of that replaced path is same, then we can replace any reversible process with this combination of zigzag path. Okay, so we can say that any reversible path may be substituted by reversible zigzag path between same end states like IF, consisting of what it is consisting of reversible adiabatic followed by reversible isotherm and then followed by reversible adiabatic, such that what condition has to be satisfied? Heat transfer during the isothermal process, just like QAB, must be same as that of heat transfer during the original process. Okay, is that clear with everyone, or is there any doubt? If any doubt is there, I will explain it again. Let me know if there is any query. Okay, so now we know that any reversible path can be replaced by this zigzag combination of adiabatic, isothermal and adiabatic. So now we are going to use this one to prove the Clausius theorem. So what Clausius theorem is? Now let's consider there is one process represented by this curve. Okay, this is one process. Now I want to replace this single process by using zigzag path. So for that one I have drawn reversible adiabats, these inclined lines. Okay, all these are the reversible adiabatics, and at the top and at the bottom I have added reversible isotherms as well, just like in this process. Okay, there was one reversible isotherm at the top. That way I have drawn one reversible isotherm at the top and one reversible isotherm at the bottom. Okay, so now out of all these processes, let's consider first segment. This is first segment. Okay, now for first segment, at the top the reversible isothermal process at temperature T1, and at the bottom temperature is T2. At temperature T1, heat entering the system dQ1. At temperature T2, heat leaving the system dQ2. Okay, now if you observe the segment that I have highlighted with red ink, do you find this is similar to any kind of process that we have seen in the past? It consists of reversible isotherm, reversible adiabatic, reversible isotherm, followed by reversible adiabatic. Do we have seen similar process in the past? Pratik, do you find this process similar to any process that we have seen in the past? Pratik, Umesh, no? This is a Carnot cycle. Now, do you remember isothermal?
येस सर, ते पाहिजेच नव्हती जात सर.
काय झालं प्रतीक?
सर ते डिस्कनेक्ट झालं होतं सर.
Acha, okay, okay. So this segment represents a Carnot cycle, right? So here we can say that the original cycle has been replaced with a large number of Carnot cycles, because there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can even add a number of stages also. So one cycle has been replaced by large number of Carnot cycles. Now for Carnot cycle, or we know that if dQ1 is the heat entering the system at temperature T1, then this dQ1 will be proportional to temperature T1. Similarly, if dQ2 is heat leaving the system at temperature T2, then this dQ2 will be proportional to temperature T2. This one we know, right? So based on those two relations, I will write this one. dQ by T1 is equal to dQ2 by T2. Can I write this one based on these two equations? I can write, right? If I insert equal to over here, dQ1 by dQ2 is equal to T1 by T2. And if I replace rearrange the terms, if I take T1 in the left and T2 in the right, what relation, dQ2 in the right, what relation I will get? dQ1 by T1 is equal to dQ2 by T2. Okay, this relation we can get. Now, is that fine with everyone, whatever I just said, or is there any query? If that is
No,
fine,
sir.
okay, then I'll move further. Okay, so here this dq1 is heat entering the system, whereas this dq2 is heat leaving the system, and we know that a sign convention for heat entering the system is positive and heat leaving the system is negative. So this dq1 will be positive and this dq2 will be negative, right? So I can write dq1 by t1, and this dq2 by t2 is negative on the right hand side or at the right of equal to. So I'll shift it to the left. So that will become plus dq2 by t2, and that will be equal to 0. I just have rearranged the terms by considering the sign convention for heat entering the system and heat leaving the system. Okay. Now this relation is for first segment. Now if I try to write a relation for this second segment, temperature T3, and at temperature T3 amount of heat entering is dq3, temperature T4 and amount of heat leaving is dq4. So I can write relation dq3 by T3 plus dq4 by T4 is equal to 0, just like this one. It was stage 1, 2, 3, 4, or dq1 was heat entering at T1 and dq2 heat leaving at T2. So I got relation dq1 by T1 plus dq2 by T2 is equal to 0. And here dq3 heat entering at T3 and dq4 heat leaving at T4. So dq3 by T3, dq4 by T4 is equal to 0. I can write that, right? Similarly, if I want to write relation for remaining parts of the cycle, we done it for the first two part. Then for other part, relation would be like dq1 by t1 plus dq2 by t2 plus dq3 by t4 plus dq4 by t4, and you can keep on adding these stages, and ultimately that whole addition is going to be equal to 0. That will be for the whole process. And instead of writing it like stage 1 plus stage 2 plus stage 3 plus stage 4 plus likewise, and that equal to 0, I can write like this one also: cyclic integral of the process dq by t is equal to 0. I just have simplified this stage. Cyclic integral indicates that this dq by t relation has to be written for whole cycle. Let it be n number of stages in that cycle. Okay. So ultimately you will get cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0, and this relation is known as Clausius theorem. Okay, so don't get confused between Clausius statement of second law of thermodynamics, that is something different. Clausius theorem is cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0. So this is also important equation. In the university examination, there will be numericals to solve on this relation. Cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0. We are going to see some numericals based on this one in the upcoming sessions. But till then, you need to remember cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0, and that is known as Clausius theorem. Any doubt till this point? If you have any, let me know. काही doubt आहे?
No, sir.
Okay. Next one is Clausius inequality. Now, what is Clausius inequality? The derivation is based on the same theme. Now, there is a TV diagram, there are 4 stages in the process. What are those 4 stages? This AB, this BC, this CD, and this DA. Now, out of those 4 stages, AB is any random process. We don't know whether it is reversible or irreversible. So that is one general process. And BC, CD, and DA all are the reversible processes. Okay. Out of that, AB, BC, CD, and DA, AB is one random process. We don't know whether it is reversible, irreversible. We are completely unaware of that one. Whereas remaining 3 stages are reversible. Now, just like in the Clausius theorem, what we are going to do? We are going to draw reversible adiabatics and reversible isotherms. T is equal to C means reversible isotherm at the top and at the bottom, and reversible adiabatics to divide the cycle into number of segments. Okay. Now, let's consider first segment. This one. Okay. Now for this segment, dq is the heat entering the system and dq2 is heat leaving the system. We know that efficiency relation is equal to, if there is one engine that is taking heat from temperature source T1, that heat will be Q1, it will be producing some work and rejecting some heat Q2 to a temperature, to a sink of at temperature T2. Then efficiency relation is going to be Q1 minus Q2 by Q1, right? This one we know. We know alternative relation also, T1 minus T2 by T1, because Q is proportional to T, Q1 proportional to T1 and Q2 proportional to T2. So we know this relation. Now this relation we are going to apply over here. If I divide this Q1 and Q2 by this Q1 individually, I will get relation 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Okay. So this relation we are going to use over here. So for this first cycle, thermal efficiency is equal to 1 minus dq2 by dq, because dq is the heat entering the system, dq2 is heat leaving the system. So relation will be 1 minus dq2 by dq. This is efficiency relation. Now, Pratik, can you tell me the Carnot theorem? What is Carnot theorem?
Closed integration of dq by t.
Carnot theorem is closed integral of dq by t. You got confused between Clausius theorem and Carnot theorem. Clausius theorem is dq by t, cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0. This is Clausius theorem. I am asking about Carnot theorem. Carnot theorem we saw at the beginning of second law of thermodynamics. Let me offer a hint. Suppose there is source at temperature T1, sink at temperature T2, there is one engine E1 operating between that source and sink, there is another engine E2 operating between same source and sink, E2 is reversible and E1 is normal engine. Which one is going to have higher efficiency?
E2, reversible heat engine.
Reversible engine, and that is the Carnot theorem. What Carnot theorem says? If there are certain number of engines operating between same source and sink, then the reversible engine is going to have highest efficiency compared to normal engines. That is the Carnot theorem. Okay. So according to that Carnot theorem, we know that reversible engine is always going to have more efficiency compared to normal engine. So that relation we are going to write over here. Suppose this is general cycle and this is reversible cycle. So N for normal cycle, NR for reversible cycle. So we know that efficiency of a reversible cycle is always greater than or equal to normal cycle. It is not going to less than actual cycle. Okay, so it will be either greater than or equal to normal cycle. This one we know. Now let's look into this derivation. Now this is for normal engine and this one is for reversible engine. So reversible engine is having more efficiency than normal. Now look at this mathematical statement. Now if I consider this term as A and this term as B, if I compare A and B, which one will be larger and which one will be smaller? Do you get my question? We have replaced this dq2 by dq with A for normal engine and dq2 by dq for reversible engine with B. And I want to establish relationship between A and B. So whether it will be greater than B, smaller than B, or equal to B.
Sir, A is greater than B.
A is going to be greater than B. Correct. Because 1 minus A is smaller than 1 minus B. Means when you subtract A from 1, that difference is smaller when you subtract B from 1. So A is going to be greater than B. And that's what we did over here. If I try to establish relationship between dq2 by dq for normal engine and dq2 by dq for reversible engine, this sign will be reversed now, because dq2 by dq for normal engine will be greater than dq2 by dq for reversible engine. Everyone is fine till this stage?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I am going to do, if dq2 by dq for normal engine is greater than dq2 by dq for reversible engine, and if I replace numerator by denominator, means if I arrange this equation like dq by dq2 for normal engine and dq by dq2 for reversible engine, means if in this denominator, if this is a, this is b, a by b, and this is c, this is d, c by d, sorry, and if I write it like b by a and d by c, this sign is going to be reversed, because if dq2 by dq for normal engine, this ratio is greater than dq2 by dq for reversible engine, it means that denominator over here and denominator over here, In case of dq2 by dq, that is for normal engine, denominator is going to be much smaller compared to numerator. That's why this ratio is larger. Whereas in case of reversible engine, denominator is not that small than numerator. Because of that, this ratio is smaller. And now if I replace denominator by numerator, the ratio will be now reversed. dq by dq for dq2 for reversible engine will be now greater than dq by dq2 for normal engine. Everyone is fine till this point? It is little bit tricky, but you need to just pay little bit attention so that you will get what I am saying. Everyone is fine till this point, or do I need to
Yes, sir.
explain? Okay. Just remember 1 minus a, 1 minus b. If I remove this 1, if 1 minus a is smaller than 1 minus b, then obviously a is greater than b. That's what we did over here. Now, in case of those two remaining ratios, I have replaced denominator by numerator. So, if division of those two is greater than division of those two, then if I rearrange the terms by replacing numerator and denominator, that ratio is going to be reversed. Now, after this point, we have reached till this point. For reversible cycle dq and dq2, dq is the heat entering at temperature T and dq2 is heat leaving at temperature T2. So this dq will be proportional to 2 and T1, dq is proportional to T and dq2 is proportional to T2. So we know that dq by dq2 for reversible cycle is equal to T by T2, because dq proportional to T and dq2 proportional to T2. So let's replace this dq by dq2 by T by T2. So this equation can be written like dq by dq2 for normal cycle is less than equal to T by T2. Now let's rearrange the T and dq2. Let's bring T to the left and dq2 to the right. So relation will be like dq by T less than equal to dq2 by T2. Is that fine? For connect participants, Ankit, Samadhan, Narayan, महेश, समजते काय चाललंय? Okay. So
Sir, the last point repeat करा.
लास्ट पॉइंट रिपीट करायचा आहे. ओके. इथपर्यंत काही इश्यू नाही, बरोबर? इथपर्यंत फक्त आपण रिअरेंजमेंट करत आलो. आता इथे आपल्याला माहिती आहे फॉर रिव्हर्सिबल सायकल dq is the heat transfer at temperature T and dq2 is heat transfer at temperature T2. So dq will be proportional to T and dq2 proportional to T2. So we are going to replace this dq by T and dq2 by T2. So you will get this relation. Left hand side is same. We just have replaced right hand side by T by T2. And here we are going to take this T in the denominator and this dq2 in the numerator. So you will get dq by T less than equal to sign will remain same as that of previous in the past, and this dq2 will go to the right hand side and divide by T2 as it is. So you will get relation dq by t less than equal to dq2 by t2. Now here this dq2 by t2 and this dq by t, this dq by t is normal process or any random process. We don't know whether reversible or irreversible, whereas remaining all other processes are reversible, bc, ct and da. And this dq2 by t2 is, dq2 is over here. So dq2 is reversible heat transfer at temperature T2. So this dq2 by T2 is related to reversible process, and for reversible process we know that dq by T is nothing but the change in entropy that we have seen. Where we saw that one, where is that entropy relation, TS plot over here. For reversible process, this dq by t is nothing but ds. Okay, and here we are saying that it is a reversible process. So this dq2 by t2 will be replaced by with now ds. So this equation will become, this dq by t will remain as it is. So we are writing this equation over here again by replacing right hand side dq2 by t2 by ds. So you will get relation dq by t less than equal to ds, because ds was related to dq by t2 and that is reversible process. Now this equation we have written for first segment only. If I want to extend it to second, third, fourth, like for complete cycle, I can write cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to cyclic integral of, sorry, less than equal to cyclic integral of ds. Okay, is that fine, Pradeep?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the past, we have seen that, sorry, we haven't done that yet. Okay, we are supposed to look at that part in the next point. But here, let me consider that this is cyclic integral of ds, that is cyclic integral of change in entropy. Okay, and in the next point, we are going to prove that entropy is a property of system. Okay, this entropy is property of system that we are going to prove in the next point. But in the past, while proving energy as a property of system, what concept we applied over there? We calculated change in internal energy for two stages, like process changing from 1 to 2 by this path and returning by two different paths. And we proved that change in internal energy delta E is independent of the path. Whether you are returning through this path or this path, the change in internal energy will be dependent of initial and final stage, and it will be independent of the path. And that's why we consider that as it is point function, it is property of a system because it has a specific value for specific state. Similarly, we are going to prove entropy as a property of system also in the next point. But here, as entropy is a property of system, then cyclic integral of any property is always zero. So the cyclic integral of ds will be now replaced by 0. So cyclic integral of dq by t, left hand side will remain as it is, less than equal to 0, and this is known as inequality of the Clausius. Okay, so that is the point. Clausius inequality, and relation is cyclic integral of dq by t less than equal to 0. Okay, now there might be a confusion that actually we have seen this one in the past, but you might have forgotten this one. Why I took cyclic integral of ds is equal to 0. Let me explain this one. We are considering entropy as a property of system, and we know that if it is a property of system, it will be independent of the time. For particular instant, if there is a system and there is one point over here, it has got pressure P, volume V, temperature T. Okay, then these properties are going to same as long as the property is in that state only. Or suppose if I say it is property of system, why cyclic integral becomes 0? Suppose system changes its state from 1 to 2. This is 1, this is 2. And during this state change, suppose its internal energy delta E got increased by certain amount. So that is plus delta E. Okay, and after that, if system returns to its original state again, what should be the delta E for that returning path? You got my question? During state change 1 to 2, the internal energy has got changed by plus delta E. Now, if I say that system is going to return to its original state, what should be the delta E? That should be plus delta E or minus delta E?
Minus.
Minus delta E. Why minus delta E? Because if I am saying that system is returning back to its original state, then it should have its original properties again. Means whatever properties that system were having before changing to state 2 has to be attained when it returned to state 1. Means if during state change 1 to 2, if its internal energy has got increased by some amount, then during returning of its original state, that internal energy must has to be reduced so that it can have original properties when it returns back to original state. And this cyclic integral means the process has completed one cycle. And if entropy is being considered as property of the system, if cycle starts from here, undergoes some random number of state changes and return back to its original state, then all the properties must have its original values so that delta has to be 0. Means whatever property has changed when it started changing from state 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and likewise, all those changes has to be eliminated when it returns back to its original state. That's why cyclic integral of any property is always 0. Okay, so that's why we consider that cyclic integral of ds is equal to 0, and we replace ds, cyclic integral of ds, with 0, and we got this relation cyclic integral of dq by t less than equal to 0, and that is known as Clausius inequality. Okay, is that fine? Everything is clear or some ambiguity is there? प्रतीक, उमेश, अंकित, काय डाऊट आहे की क्लिअर झालं इथपर्यंत सर्व?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So now the sign is, let me erase this one. Now sign is less than or equal to 0. So it may be less than 0 or it may be equal to 0. So when it is going to be less than 0 and when it is going to be equal to 0, and what will happen if it is greater than 0, that we are going to discuss. So cyclic integral of dq by t less than equal to 0, it is for either reversible or irreversible process. Process could be reversible or irreversible. This is general equation. Now let's write it for reversible process, irreversible process individually. So how it changes? If that cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0, process is reversible. The general equation was less than equal to. Now when it is equal to 0, process is reversible. When it is less than 0, process is irreversible but possible. Process can happen and that process is going to be irreversible. But when it is greater than 0, the process is impossible because that is going to violate the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so for any process that occurs in nature, whether it is reversible process or irreversible process, that is going to be less than equal to 0. If it is greater than 0, that process is impossible. Is that fine? This is most important point from the entropy. It has been asked many times in the examination. Describe the Clausius inequality. So you need to derive this equation, cyclic integral of dq by t less than equal to 0, as well as you need to write these three relations for reversible, irreversible and impossible process. Or when it is equal to 0, what kind of process would be there? When it is less than 0 and when it is greater than 0. Okay. Next, now we are going to prove entropy as a property of system. We already used this one since entropy is a property and cyclic integral of any property is 0. Actually, we have seen this point earlier, but this is like little bit confusing one. Why confusing one? Because we need to use this cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0 also, and we need to prove that entropy as a property of system also. So it is like one is dependent of the another one. No issue. Let's discuss it over here. So to prove that entropy is a property of system, we need to draw one PV diagram. State changes from 1 to 2 through path L and returns to original state once through path N and another instant through path M. If you are able to recall this scenario that we used to prove energy as a property of system, this is exactly similar. So if you are comfortable with that one, you will easily get this one also. This is not complicated at all, but you need to relate it with the derivation that we use to prove energy as a property of system. Okay. So let's do it here for the entropy. Now, here there are two processes. First one, when it changes its state from 1 to 2 through path L and returns through path N. So that will be first process. And second one, 1 to 2 through path L and returns through path M. So returning paths are different one. Now, we already have proved that for reversible cycle, cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0. that we have proved just in the last slide. Now, all these are reversible processes, even LM also. So this cyclic integral of dq by t is equal to 0 is for cycle. We don't know what number of stages are there. Okay, so in that case we can write cyclic integral of dq by t. But here we know that there are two stages, 1 to 2 through L and 2 to 1 through M. So there are two stages. So let's split this equation for 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. So equation will be for 1 to 2 through path L, dq by t, plus second stage is 2 to 1 path followed is M, dq by t is equal to 0. Let's consider this one as equation number 1. Now similar equation will be there for second process, that is 1L to M1, means when it returns through path M, the equation will be this one we already have written for M. So next one we are going to write for the N. So relation will be 1 to 2 through path L dq by t plus 2 to 1 dq by t through path N, and that is addition is going to be equal to 0. So this is equation number 2. Now what we are going to do, we are going to subtract equation number 2, this equation, from equation number 1. So we are going to subtract this equation number 2 from equation number 1. So you can easily get that there is similar term, this one, 1 to 2 through path L, 1 to 2 through path L dq by t. So those two will be eliminated when you subtract this one, and what you will get, 1 to 2 through path M dq by t minus whether I said 2 to 1 or 1 to 2. Okay, so the remaining term is this one, 2 to 1 through path M dq by t minus, from this equation, 2 to 1 through path M dq by t. So subtraction of those two is equal to 0. Now this is negative, so I can shift this to the right hand side. So this negative will become positive, and I will get equation 2. What I just did over here, 1 to 2. Okay, I think I wrote something else over here. So instead of this one, what relation should have been there? This equal to will be gone, and equation would be like 2 to 1 through path M dq by t is equal to 2 to 1 through path N dq by t, because this negative 2 to 1 through path N dq by t we have shifted to the right hand side. So now this whole term will be equal to this whole term. So what we have got, when system changes its state from 2 to 1 through path M, that is when system changes its state from 2 to 1 through path M, the dq by t term is equal to, when system changes its state from 2 to 1 through path N dq by t. Means this dq by t term is independent of the path. Whether I am following path M or following path N, this dq by t is independent of the path. So it is point function. It is going to have fixed value that is dependent of state of the system, state 1 and state 2. And as it is independent of the path, it is point function, and it has got fixed value that is dependent of the state. this dq by 2 can be considered as property of the system. And we know that this dq by t is nothing but entropy. dq by t is nothing but the ds, change in entropy. And if I am saying that dq by t is property of a system, this ds is the property of system, and we can say that entropy is property of the system. Okay, so here we have proven that entropy is a property of a system. Is that fine? Any doubt, any query?
No, sir.
Okay. To remember, just relate it with the derivation that we use to prove energy as a property of system. Then you can easily write this derivation also. Okay. Now for irreversible process, if you try to write entropy change, what relation is going to be there? Actually, we have proved this one. In the Clausius inequality, that dq by t is less than equal to 0 for any process, whether it is reversible or irreversible. If it is equal to 0, the process is reversible. If it is less than 0, the process is irreversible and possible. And when it is greater than 0, the process is simply impossible. Process cannot take place. So now we are going to write relation for entropy change in case of irreversible process. So in the diagram, there are two processes. First one, 1 to 2 and 2 to 1 through path A and B. Both are reversible. And in second case, 1 to 2 through reversible path and 2 to 1 through irreversible path C. So first one is completely reversible cycle. Second one is irreversible cycle, because there is involvement of one path 2 to 1 that is irreversible in nature. So we have proved that for any process dq by t is less than equal to ds, or rearranging that one, ds will be greater than equal to dq by t. Now let's write this relation for this complete cycle. AB and first one 1A2 B1, that is consisting of both reversible, and second one irreversible. Now for reversible path, we know that this dq by t is equal to 0. We just wrote it over here, right? dq by t less than equal to 0. Any process, if it is equal to 0, reversible 0, less than 0, that will be irreversible. So first one, when both paths are reversible, integration dq by t is equal to 0, and it consists of two paths A and B. It has been splitted into two paths A and B. 1 to 2 dq by t plus 2 to 1 dq by t is equal to 0. This term shifted to the right, so you will get A 1 to 2 dq by t is equal to minus 2 to 1 B dq by t. This one we have shifted to the right, and we have named this one as equation number 1. This is for reversible process, that is this one. Now for second one, when C path is there, the process will be dq by t less than 0, right? That we know. So dq by t less than 0, and paths are A 1 to 2 dq by t plus 2 to 1 path C dq by t less than 0. Now here this dq by t 1 to 2 path A is equal to this one from equation 1. 1 to 2a dq by t is equal to minus 2 to 1b dq by t. So we are going to replace this one with this term. So you will get equation minus this term as it is over here 2 to 1b dq by t plus this term as it is 2 to 1c dq by t less than 0. So from equation 1 we have replaced this right hand side instead of this left hand side, and we have written this relation minus of 2 to 1b dq by t plus 2 to 1c dq by t less than 0. Now this minus term we are going to shift to the right. This term we are going to shift towards the right. So when you shift towards the right, this term will become greater than 2 to 1c dq by t. That is but obvious, right? I have shifted this towards the right, and if I write this relation to the left, this sign will be altered, and this dq by t 2 to 1b will become greater than 2 to 1c dq by t. Everything is clear till this point, or any doubt? If you have any query, any doubt, let me know, or else I'll move further. Pratik, Umesh, Ankit, Mahesh.
No, sir.
Okay. So now, here, out of this left hand side and right hand side, this is path B and this is path C. And here we know that A and B are reversible paths and C is irreversible path. So for reversible process, dq by t is nothing but ds. Two to one b dq by t, that is ratio of heat transfer to the temperature. This one, this d is reversible path, so this dq by t can be replaced by ds, that is change in entropy. Okay, so this dq by t for reversible path has been replaced by entropy. So I have written that 2 to 1 b ds. But also we know that entropy is property of the system. And if it is entropy, if entropy is property of system, whether it is following path B or following path C, if it is changing its state from 2 to 1, changing its state from 2 to 1, it is going to remain same. So what I have done over here, 2 to 1 for path B change in entropy is equal to 2 to 1 for path C change in entropy. So what I just did here, this dq by t is for reversible path. So I replaced this dq by t by ds, that is change in entropy. And I already have proven that change in entropy or entropy is property of system. So change in entropy will be independent of the path that we know. So whether I am following path B or I am following path C, for same state change, that is 2 to 1, 2 to 1, then that is going to be independent of the path. So entropy change for path B as well as entropy change for path C is going to be same. So I have got This change in entropy for B is equal to change in entropy for C. And now I'm going to put this bracket over here in the place of this one, because here I got for path B 221 dq by t, that I replaced with ds, that is change in entropy. And here what I proved, that as it is property of system, it is going to same for both the path. So now this 221 for path C change in entropy I'll put over here, and I will get this equation. This right hand side is same as that of this one, 221C dq by t, and this left hand side has been replaced by this 221C ds. 221C ds. Now this is also for path C, this is also for path C, for 221, for 221. So dq by t is less than ds. So I can say that for any irreversible process, this dq by t is always less than change in entropy. Just like this one, dq by t less than equal to 0. What relation was there? If it is equal to 0, process is reversible. If it is less than 0, process is irreversible. And if it is greater than 0, process is impossible. Similarly, if it is less than ds, process is irreversible and possible. If it is equal to ds, process is reversible. And if it is again greater than ds, that process is not going to be there. So the final statement is this dq by t is always going to be less than equal to ds for any kind of process. Just compare this one with this one. Dq by t less than equal to ds. If it is greater equal to ds, process is reversible. If it is less than ds, process is irreversible. Okay, is that fine? समजलंय? काय डाऊट आहे?
No, sir.
ओके. किती वेळ झाला? 12 वाजले, 10:30 1 तास. थांबूयात का? खूप झालं ना डेरिवेशन?
Yes, sir.
Next one is entropy principle, entropy applications and all. Okay, entropy principle we'll see in the next session. Okay, we are going to stop over here. If you have any query, any doubt, you can contact me through WhatsApp, you can call me, but start studying and be there for the sessions. Don't remain absent. As I said earlier, this thermodynamics is going to be base for more than 3 subjects in the next semester and upcoming 4 semesters. Okay, there is going to be applied thermodynamics 1, applied thermodynamics 2, refrigeration and air conditioning, and if possible automobile engineering also. So all those things are going to be based on this thermodynamics only. So be there for each and every session, so that the base for all those upcoming subjects will be rigid over here only. Okay, so I'm going to end this session now. And thank you everyone for being there. I'll stop sharing. Everyone has posted message in the chat window, hopefully, because that is going to be your attendance. Okay, I'll end the session now.